We have the Chief Deputy of the Northfield Police Department, Mark Dukatz, joining Pete Mergens and myself here at Professional Pride Realty. And Pete, I don't know if you want to start off the show here. Certainly appreciate your hosting this again.
Well, it's my pleasure as always, especially when we get an opportunity to speak to Mark. That'll be fun. And it's always a pleasure. As you know, we have some great guests on our show.
Hey, you had the tree giveaway. How'd that go over here?
It went really well. We had quite a few people show up and gave away lots of young trees to be planted. And it was a good success.
And isn't that cool? I know you're an outdoors person, so it was a perfect fit for you.
Yep, it was. It went very well. So appreciate that opportunity.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and I'm glad to hear that a lot of people took advantage of that because they were free.
Free. It's hard to beat free.
Yeah, it's the best four-letter word in the English language other than love, I always say.
I think you're right.
Absolutely free. So how's the house selling business?
It's continuing very strong this spring. We are still seeing a shortage of inventory, so on the buying side it doesn't give buyers a lot of opportunity to think too much when they find the house that they like. But it is a very active marketplace, a great time to sell, and a good time to buy as well.
Fantastic. So it's still a tight market, right, in terms of the availability of homes?
It is. It's a little complicated out there. Sometimes there's 2 or 3 buyers for that one property. So we do see a very spirited negotiation sometimes.
Which is great for the seller. So if you're thinking that even if you're within a year or so of selling your home, now might be the time to jump in, right?
It could be. It very well could be a good time to do that.
Makes some sense to me. Speaking of selling homes, Mark was telling us before we hit the airwaves that he's thinking about doing that the next year or so.
Yeah, well, perhaps he's looking for a good realtor.
There you go. And you're one right here at Professional Pride Realty.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate your having us up here in Northfield. This is kind of fun.
It is. It's always a pleasure for us to take part in the involvement in the city here.
Now, I only have a couple of minutes before our market update, so Mark Dukatz,
Yep.
Did I say that right?
You did.
You have been on the Northfield Police Department how long?
A little over 20 years now.
Wow. 20 years. So you're close to retiring, I take it.
I'm getting close to that timeline, yes.
He's not going to tell me, is he?
How long? No.
I thought maybe that's why you were selling your home.
Well, I mean, that's part of the reasoning, but I'm still a couple years from making that decision.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take a little break here, and then we'll come back because we really can't dive into anything in about a minute. So take it away, John, myself, and we'll talk to Mark Dukatz. Actually, Pete and I are going to talk to Mark. I don't know if you have any questions before we resume our conversation here, Pete, of the Deputy Chief of Police here in Northfield. We got to be on our best behavior here.
Yeah, we do. It's easier for me to be on my best behavior. You, I don't know, but
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not volunteering for anything.
No, there you go.
No, gosh, I'm not even sure what I would ask. What's the state of Northfield right now? How are things looking from the standpoint of the police department?
Oh, it's looking good. We're, numbers-wise, we've got 20 staff. We're approved for 22, and we're in the process of hiring or backgrounding one right now, and then we'll probably post again. We're busy. Lately, it just seems calls keep coming, and we run for a city this size. We're probably a little light on our numbers as far as staffing, but we're doing our best to keep up.
What is the rule, standard rule? What is it supposed to be?
Standard rule, normally it's like around 1.5 sworn staff, I think, per 1,000. And we have, I think right now we're seeing around 1 or 1.1. So we're a little under with the average than
Sure.
what would be considered.
You're close.
Yeah.
I'm curious your thoughts on the Forest Lake Police Department. They got rid of their police department. The county's taking over. Can you imagine that happening in a city like Northfield? That's about the same size.
No, you feel bad for the staff there. They're going to be, I don't know how they're going to do as far as the positions. If the county's going to absorb any, normally they'd rehire those positions. because I'm assuming the county is going to contract to cover the city.
Yep.
But I think Forest Lake's gonna miss something there, and that our officers know our community because they're here every day and they get to know them and they get out and they walk around. When you have contracted services, you lose some of that personal touch. You lose some of getting to know people by name, by sight. Who's got what business in town, and some of that's very helpful. As far as when you're out walking a beat or driving around, you recognize people at night or cars that don't usually fit in. I think you lose some of that when you don't have your own department.
Right. I was visiting with the chief yesterday when we were talking a little bit about being a police officer in Northfield, and he said it's kind of cool when you think back in the day. Defeat of Jesse James days here is all about celebration of law enforcement, right? Now the community rose up and fought off the bank robbers. That's quite a tradition to follow in.
It is, and every year we're reminded of it. And it is fun. We enjoy it. It's busy. After 4 days, as far as the department, we're kind of like, okay, it was fun. We're glad it's over, but it is enjoy. A lot of people come in from outside areas and outstate and out of state, and they ask questions. And it's a lot of fun, and we get to show off our town. Which
largest
is nice.
all-volunteer celebration in Minnesota. You guys have to be really proud of that here in Northfield.
Yes, we are. It is a large group of people that take part in this, and it wouldn't happen without them.
And, Mark, you wouldn't be an officer in Northfield for over 20 years if you didn't like it here.
No, I wouldn't. I do. I've started here in '96 and started as an officer, and I have no regrets. I've enjoyed everything I've done here, enjoyed the people I've met, come in contact with. I've had a very fulfilling 20 years here.
Now, I'm just taking a wild guess, a really off-the-wall guess, I might add, too, that you probably have been an investigator as well as a patrol officer.
Yep.
You've been in every aspect. That's why you're the chief deputy.
Yeah, I've started out as a patrol officer, as a field training officer, an investigator, and, did some time. We had a motorcycle unit here, myself, and now it's Sergeant Thad Monroe. And that was enjoyable, too. We wish we could have got more time on him, but we had him here for about 7 years.
You remember Chips? You ever watch that show?
Yes, I remember Chips. And we get teased now and then. Yep.
So who was Eric Estrada?
Well, which one crashed your bike the most? I think that was me.
You didn't get hurt seriously or not, did you?
No.
Did you have any chases on a motorcycle?
No, most people on a bike around here just take a while to stop because they're not really used to seeing what's in their mirror.
Sure.
It's a little smaller.
Which reminds me, it's a good idea to remind people that, motorcycles are out and about now. Let's keep our eyes peeled.
Yeah, motorcycles. The weather's getting nice. Motorcycles, kids on bicycles, adults on bicycles. You got more people out running, jogging, rollerblading, skateboards. You name it, kids on big wheels, little toys. So it's an important time of year for people that are driving. Remember, they got to watch and slow down in the residential areas. There's nothing that you're in such a hurry for that is worth risking, someone getting hurt.
And I would recommend, and I was out biking on Saturday and Sunday, bikers, make sure you signal, please.
Oh, yes, bicyclists and motorcyclists. And the other thing we have to remind our bicyclists is they're subject to the same rules of the road as someone in a vehicle. So when you come up to that stop sign, if you just ride through on your bicycle, you can actually get cited just like someone in a car. You're supposed to stop.
And you should get cited.
It does. We do get complaints of bicyclists running stop signs, and I think they just don't feel that there's a need to stop, but there is, and it's also a safety issue.
Since starting over 20 years ago, what's the biggest change you've seen?
I think in the calls. Lately the calls are more. They take more time. We're seeing a lot more mental health related calls, and it's also changed some of our training and how we're going to respond to a lot of these calls. People have to learn to be more patient, be willing to listen. They take a little more time. So I'd say some of the training, how the training is changed over time, from more of a, it used to be get in, you got to solve this right away and get control, to where now you're getting into where you come into a situation, you want to take more time to evaluate it and look at other options other than just trying to go in and push through,
Yeah. You guys have body cameras?
We don't yet. We have the squad cameras. The officers carry audio, so when the cameras are running, their audios are on. We also carry portable digital recorders. In 2018 is when we hope to implement body cameras. We were kind of waiting to see how the legislation dealt with the privacy issues.
Well, and in terms of saving all that.
Yep, and
video.
now we're going to try and figure out, okay, now how long do you want to save it? What's your retention going to be on it? How are you going to save it? And and some of the cost and equipment associated with that.
Yeah, that can get pretty spendy. So.
It can. And we're gonna we'd prefer to be able to store our video and audio all on site versus on someone else's service or on a cloud. So we're trying to working with our IT department, and they've been very helpful with us determining what we will need for space to store all that.
So that would be another change that you'll see when the body cameras come in.
Oh yeah, yep. Policy changes and just changes for officers. When to turn them on, when to turn them off, how to use them.
Do you think that'll be a good thing?
I think it will. Yep. We audio and dash cameras on squad cars, I think, have been a good thing. People are going to. The technology's out there where we're getting videotaped every time we get out of a car or walk around. Someone could be taping us, so why shouldn't we be running them?
Right.
It's for our benefit as well as the people that you're encountering.
Are you finding people more aggressive these days than when you first started? In terms of some of the calls that you go on, I know I hear all the time from officers that the number one call they hate is the domestic call,
Yep.
because you never know what you're walking into.
No, and you don't. I don't know if I'm seeing people that are more aggressive, maybe verbally abusive and verbally non-compliant. I don't know if I'm seeing people being more physically aggressive, and that might be part of it. Everybody knows they're being videotaped now.
How's crime in Northfield? I don't know if you have a recent report or not.
No, right now the weather's getting nice, so the big thing our officers out watching for this time of year is people going into vehicles and minor thefts. And what we'd like to ask people to do there is lock your doors, keep stuff that's of interest or value out of sight, out of mind. Garage doors, make sure they're closed at night. Service doors of your garage, make sure they're closed. Little things like that. Just a lot of times some of our thefts are more of I can't think of the word, but what's available. They walking up, pulling door handles. That's a convenient. What's convenient, and if we take some of the convenience out, some of those things won't happen.
It wouldn't hurt to lock your car or your garage either, would it? Garage and cars and everything.
Yeah, in service doors of the house, a lot of people tend to leave their service door from their garage to their house unlocked. It's a good idea to lock that also.
When you go to bed at night.
At night, work during the day. Just secure your belongings. It doesn't take much, and it keeps you don't want to come home and find stuff missing.
No, make it hard. Make it harder for the criminals.
Make it difficult, because if they have to make more noise to get in, at least someone might hear them, and we have a chance to be there.
Yeah, Mark Dukatz again is our guest. He is the Deputy Chief of Police here for the city of Northfield. Pete, do you have anything you wanted to add here before?
Well, one of the things that has kind of hit the real estate industry as of late is some internet phishing scams.
Yes.
That have been quite prevalent lately. We realtors have been receiving emails from oftentimes what appears to be people that we know, and they're asking us to open a program, a file that was sent to us. And what's happening is as people click on these things, they're unknowingly allowing access to all your data as a program will begin running in the background. And what they're actually doing is they're trying to get to our calendar, our Outlook inbox, because they're trying to find closings in particular. And then they are going so far as to sending emails to our buyers and sellers telling them that there's been a slight change in their closing and they need to wire their funds a day or two sooner.
Oh.
And so we actually have quite an epidemic that's starting to pop up. We've actually seen it here in our office. We've received those types of emails. So we really encourage people, if you get any type of an email that you don't recognize or just doesn't sound right or feel right, delete it. It's the best thing you can do, without a doubt. So, yeah, things are changing out there.
Yeah, that's something you
without
didn't see 20 years ago, Mark, right? The internet crimes, that wasn't around.
No, and now, besides what the real estate market's getting hit with, we still have, and recently have had phone calls, which are like the grandparent scams, granddaughters, where people call and pretend they're someone's grandchild, and they've got in trouble and need money. Lottery scams, and then now with tax refunds having come out, people are trying to get into people's tax refunds. So anything that people see on their internet that they didn't reach out and ask for, or they didn't connect to, they should always be diligent in looking in on things. And even in our own city, people that come door to door in our city, other than like the local youth programs, we require peddlers licenses and peddlers, and we issue peddlers permits. So if someone's coming to your door and they're trying to sell you something,
ask for the
permit, make sure they have it. If not, please feel free to give our department a call and just call in on an emergency number and let us know where they're at, and we'll come have a talk with them, make sure they're legitimate.
Do you have a special cyber section? And I know you're a small department, but do you have a special officer that specializes in cyber crimes or anything?
No, we really don't. We are smaller, so I mean, cyber stuff, our investigative group will look into things. If it's something where we need to get into someone's phone, if it's an investigation, we usually use the BCA to help us out with those.
Yeah, that's the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. I see a couple of notes there. Do you have some things you wanted to emphasize today?
No, I was just was going to bring up the issue of phone scams and internet scams, and so when the topic came up, I just thought I'd add in a few that we've noticed around here. So
sure.
We just ask that the community as a whole, here and anywhere in Rice County, just if people approach you or you get calls and they don't seem right, nothing's free. There's always a catch.
I know last week you guys unfortunately had somebody exposing themselves here in Northfield, and I know when I talked to the chief yesterday, he said it wouldn't be a bad idea to remind people that when they see stuff like that, to give you guys a call right away.
Yep, give us a call right away, and as much detail as they can provide. I mean, if they can get a license plate number of a vehicle, that's great, a good description of a person. Everyone's got phones. If someone can, take a picture, record an event without putting themselves in a position of concern, we don't want anybody getting hurt. But all those tools that people have, sometimes we don't even think about our phones. We can take a quick video or
Never
a
thought
quick
about
picture.
that. That's where you get a license plate.
But yeah, so then vehicle's a license plate because it's specific to a vehicle. All that stuff really helps us out, the more information we can get.
Well, I saw in your news release there wasn't much of a description of the person. Somebody in their 30s, 30 to 40 years of age with brown hair doesn't really go very far.
Yeah, and it's sometimes that's all we get. I mean, it's people get whatever the incident might be, people get concerned and they leave right away. And I'm not going to tell anyone to stare someone down to get a description. I'm just saying, if while you're in that position, remembering or getting information in a safe manner just helps us.
Yeah. So again, folks, what's your phone number over there?
507-645-4477 is our general number of the police department.
What was that again?
507-645-4477.
And of course, in an emergency, 911.
Yes.
And you have your own dispatch here, right?
No, our whole county dispatches through it's the combination of Rice and Steele County Dispatch Center down in Owatonna.
Okay, you're involved with Owatonna
yes.
too.
Yep.
Has it always been that way? I thought maybe you had...
No, when I first started here, Northfield had their own dispatch.
Correct, that's what I thought.
And Faribault and Rice dispatched out of one, and Rice and Steele had their own. Or Steele County and Owatonna had their own. And then because of technology changes and upgrades and requirements, it was better for us to combine into the two counties to combine together.
You think that's worked well?
I think it has. In the beginning, it took some time. I mean, when people here would call in to, our dispatchers here, they just say who they are or what house or give them a landmark and everybody knew where to go. Well,
Right.
You can't call someone down in Owatonna and say, hey, I'm, off of, by the old A&W. Well, the dispatchers there aren't going to have any idea where that is.
No, they wouldn't have a clue.
No. So it took some getting used to, but I think it's worked great now. And Jill Bonas, who runs that center down there, her staff, she and her staff are great. They do a lot to help us out, and they protect us. They get us the information we need to try and arrive at scenes safely.
What's your biggest challenge these days
Biggest challenge.
as a police department? I know there's a lot of them probably, so.
Well, I guess currently our biggest challenge is the issue with the mental health. We have and it doesn't just affect us. It's like our EMS groups and the hospitals. We get a lot of calls, or seem to get more calls all the time dealing with mental health related issues. And most of these people need help. As a police department, we don't have the facility or the trained people for that, so we take them to the ER if they need an evaluation or need some help. And from there, that's where the problem comes in. And
then where do they go after that?
Exactly. The facilities that are available for them are limited. Beds are limited. Just the resources are terrible, and we don't want to turn a mental health thing into what could become a criminal thing because we can't get someone help. And that's what you need. There's a lot of times you get a mental health call and you're trying to get people help, and now you've got to transport them somewhere. Well, a preferred method for us is to transport in an ambulance. If that's not available, now you take someone who's in a mental health crisis and put them in the back of a squad car. Well, it kind of changes the environment for them.
Yes.
And it's very public. People see who's in the back of your car. So again, it's the resources and places to go and all those things surrounding those type of calls.
And I don't know, do you have beds designated here in Northfield for mental health patients?
We don't have a mental health facility in Northfield at all.
So that would be a need.
Yep, it would be. It would definitely be a need. Our ambulances sometimes had to transport people as far away as Fargo to find a bed.
Wow.
So that's a strain on the. It's also a strain on the person because they need help, and now we're taking them 5 hours to get help, and now their family can't even get in touch with them. So it really is a problem.
Yeah. So it's something to think about here in Northfield.
And then when they come back, are they going to be as willing to call us for help if the last time they got transported to some place, it creates a trust issue. We're trying to get them help, and they don't feel that what they got from us was appropriate.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Well, Pete, we about wrapped up. This show runs too fast sometimes, and today's one of those times.
It helps when you have a really good guest like that.
Yeah.
1 minute?
Absolutely. Sure.
Next week is National Police Officers Week.
That's right.
And it's also Monday is National Police Officers Memorial Day. Also this month is the I believe National Military Personnel Month. So if people could just I guess for us, sign of appreciation, blue light in your window or blue light out front of the house. And then we also would ask that people remember our veterans and our current people serving the military and replace that blue light with a green light for the rest of the month.
Awesome. I like that suggestion.
Yeah, that's really great stuff. I can't thank Mark enough for coming in today, and thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, thanks a lot for serving.
Thank you. One more thing, I just want to remember Deputy John Liebenstein, May 3rd. He was a Rice County deputy who perished in the line of duty 21 years ago. We just want to remember him also.
Yeah, and Terry Hansen from the Rice County Sheriff's Office, too, have passed away. He was in a pursuit. Both officers lost their lives the time I've been at KDHL. So thanks again, Mark, for coming in.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Pete.
Thank you.
You have yourself a super day, okay?
Sounds good. You do the same.
What's your number again if people are thinking about buying or selling a home?
507-663-1100.
Now's the time if you're looking to sell, like I say, to jump in the market. Sounds like you get premium dollar for your home.
It's going very well.
Yeah. Again, that concludes today's edition of AM Minnesota from Professional Pride Realty in Northfield.